By the end of this video, you should be able to create pop-up dialogues and notifications within your app. Stay tuned to find out how. Hello and welcome to another Thunkable tip. In this next series we're going to focus on the notifier. We're going to look at the various different procedures, the alerts and the dialogues that you can create. So let's go and make a new app for this component. I'm going to call it notifier, like so. And then when it loads up, we're going to need a couple of different components. The first one here is to drag and drop in our notifier, of course. Notifier 1 appears here in our component tree, and then underneath notifier 1 is listed as a non-visible component. So if you're watching these in order, this is the first time we've seen a non-visible component in our app. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add in a button to actually make the alerts and the dialogues appear. So we'll make the text a little bit larger, I suppose, so it's a little bit easier to see on your screens. I'm going to change the text here to show alert, maybe, like so. And then another thing that I notice is that this is very close to the top of the screen, and I would much rather it be at the bottom of the screen. So on screen 1, let's change the align vertical property to bottom like this. Let's change the title property just so we know which app we're working on. That's the notifier, and we'll get rid of the status bar to have a little bit more space on the screen. Okay, so that's it in terms of our design. Very simple, just to test out this new component. What we'll do then is that when the button is clicked, like this, all we're going to do is we're going to use the notifier component, and we've got a variety then of different procedures. The most basic of these is the alert. So we can call notifier1.showAlert, and most of the parameters and most of the inputs will be strings. So we go to text and we get one of these empty strings like so, and we can say hello world. That's kind of the tradition, I suppose. Hello world, like that. I've got my live testing, let's say, open in another tab here. Clicking on the button shows our alert. Hello world. There's two options then with the alerts back in the designer here, or we can do it in the code. We can have the notifier length be long or short, whether we want it to appear for, I think it's 3 seconds or 5 seconds. Then next block then, let's introduce the show message dialog. That's the next one now that we want to look at, show message dialog. Like so. So we get rid of our alert. And the show message dialog, then we need 3 strings for that. So we can right click on a block and we can duplicate it. And a third one like this. And we can bin the alert because we're finished with it. So the message is, again, we can say something like hello world, I suppose. And then if we're not sure what a title is or where the title goes, we can just put in something kind of self-explanatory. And OK is usually what you would see on one of these buttons. So if we go back here, it still says show alert, but now we can see that the title appears kind of in bold at the top. Hello world, this is the actual body text then of the message dialog, and OK then is the message that we get to dismiss the message dialog. Okay. The next one then that we want to show is the choose dialog. This allows us then to give the user a couple of different options. So we've got 4 inputs here, 4 parameters. We are going to use 4 strings of text. So show choose dialog. Our message then can be something straightforward. Do you like this dialog? If you don't want a title, what you could do then is you could delete this string here, and there would be no title. And then we can have 2 options. We can have yes, and then we could have no, for instance, like that. I'm going to just demonstrate here. This one is all in caps, this one is in lowercase. And we have a logic value, a Boolean logic value here, which is true or false, whether or not we want the user to be able to cancel the app. So again, when we get our dialog, do you like the dialog? Yes, no, yes, cancel, and no appear. We can click no, we can click yes, and we can click cancel. If we set the cancelable logic value here to false and test it out. We have yes and no, and these two options go to either side. So by default, these texts are all capitalized. So even though I wrote lowercase no and capital yes, they're all capitalized here in this by default. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have, because we've given them a choice, they can choose yes or no. We've got an event here that deals with that, which is after choosing, like so. And what we'll do is we'll actually use the alert down here that we saw earlier. We'll use the alert and we'll tell the user what they picked. So we'll join together, you chose, I suppose. We'll put a space in after that then so that we can join together the two things, and we'll use the choice variable. This is a local variable and it only exists here within this after choosing event. So let's have a look here. Let's dismiss this, and you chose no, lowercase no there. Let's choose yes, you chose yes. So even though the text on the buttons might be capitalized, the choice, the actual variable itself, that corresponds to whatever you've written here, whatever strings you've passed in the choose dialog. So hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Introducing you to the notifier, learning a little bit about message dialogs and choose dialogs. We're going to continue this series by looking at the text dialog in the next video. Thanks very much for making it to the end of the video. Thanks to everybody who subscribed recently. If you liked the video, don't forget to click the thumbs up. Keep on thunking, and I will see you in the next video.